difficulty here on the recorder, the stream. So if we do jump off of the stream, please understand and believe that this is also being recorded. So I will upload this for your viewing on your free time. I do advise everyone to get an opportunity to watch this and to listen to it and then challenge it. So get your own research groove on and see what we see. Bottom line, what are we not seeing in life? So that's what this is about. The new series that I have, I'm not getting paid for any of this, so don't worry about it. This is all about life. But the new series is going to be called The Rabbit Hole 101, and I don't know how this could be 50 parts. I'm just trying to get to the bottom line. That's what I want. I want the truth. So, we're tired of the game of no one really knows. Everybody is God's people, etc., etc. I'm sick of this shit. Right now, people are being destroyed by this coronavirus. Before then, it was anything from syphilis to smallpox. Done with these games, man. Give us the opportunity we deserve, which is to give an opportunity to live. So that's what the stream is going to be about. We're going to get ready in about 1 minute, and hopefully the stream quality is okay for everybody and we don't lose you. But if we do, again, I will upload this video because it is also being recorded. So about 30 seconds. All right, hopefully you're ready. Hopefully I'm ready. I have no script. All I have is open windows on this laptop. So I know everybody's getting ready for their Super Bowl. How are you? If you know me, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too, because it's not important. I'm the world's biggest nobody, so you don't have anything to worry about. I'm not a threat to you or your family. I'm just an agitator in life. I was born that way. I can't control that. Everybody's stressing nowadays. We don't know how big this coronavirus is going to get. There's nothing we can really do. We have to be wise here, and try to avoid this thing. Try to kick this thing in the butt and beat it. But this video today, this stream, is all about. Let me rephrase this. So it's so easy for someone to come along and say, why are you crying over spilled milk? Or, why don't you just let it go? It's in the past. All this other bullshit. You know what? I'm going to try my best not to swear a lot first, okay? Very important for you guys to see this. So I don't know if you've seen the opening screen. So let's go back to it real quick. This opening screen. So what is this about? Well, for all the struggling Jehovah's Witnesses families out there, the past, present, and the future ones, they've all run into the same reoccurring problem. The problem is there's so many secrets behind the organization that they don't know what to trust. They were told up front and taught that, they were taught that, that they're God's organization, their direct channel. The governing body members are basically in a meeting with God every other fucking day or something like that. I don't know what they try to say. And then, of course, we have our elders that run each individual congregation. You have your ministerial servants, pioneers, all of that. Believe me, listen, I talk through respect first because I was born and raised in this thing. Since I was 2 years old, my parents, I'm not going to talk too much about the private side of this, so I'm going to leave it alone, but my family was raised up in this religion. So if anybody's going to be able to tell you something, it's going to be me, number one. And I think that's one of the reasons why these guys keep avoiding me, because they know that there's no way they can escape what I know, what a lot of members know that are no longer in this organization. And what we thought we knew, we don't know. We never knew because we were told not to chase things down, not to study anything outside of the organization. That's what cults do. I'm sorry. We didn't know it was a cult. We were raised to respect ourselves, respect the Bible, turn the other cheek all the freaking time. Now we understand. Now we understand. But the reason I'm doing this stream on a Super Bowl Sunday, and it's what? Black History Month? That's what we're calling that, Black History Month? We got 30 days to talk about black people. Is that what it is? Listen, first off, my people don't even understand who we used to be. But I'm going to show you something of how they were able to control it and what they did. Listen, I hate the word conspiracy because it's so stupid to try to use the word conspiracy when the world conspired against you. Does that make any sense? So let's not go there on the conspiracy thing. What we can do is take their little individual facts and use them as chess pieces, or excuse me, puzzle pieces, and put the pieces together and see what we see. If it doesn't make sense to us in our heart and in our mind, you leave it alone. You walk away from it. You stay away from it. That's how it should be. If it makes sense, if it makes you motivated to do something, then you do something based on what you see. See, what this religion does is it kind of rips at your family. It rips you apart. It's not about togetherness. It's not about your past. It's about things coming in the future and your revelation, your tribulations. What if the revelation, the tribulation in Revelation already happened? Already happened. Come on, you can't even get it right as to what day it is supposedly that the world was supposed to end. How many times did you strike out on that? But you made a lot of money off of it, Jehovah's Witnesses. Come on. And I'm not talking about the genuine, caring Jehovah's Witnesses out there. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about their leaders, because the leaders, the higher up you go, the more shit they're into that you'll never understand. And that's the power of money. So let me show you this picture again. Let me go right back off of it. So we see this guy here in the image, and I'm circling this. You can see it on our screen today. So, excuse me. So on this screen, you see a red shadow here. And listen, again, I have to make this known real quick. So first off, this is going to be a 2-day show. Not me. This is a station called Oxygen. It's a cable station. They're airing a program. It's called, I think it's called The Witness, right? Is it? Yeah, it's called The Witness. It's a 2-night special. That's what they're calling it. You have to understand, the ones defending these higher ups sometimes are in bed with them. What I mean by that is they don't play devil's advocate, if you want to call it that term. They play mediator, not moderator, mediator. They stay in the middle. They show you some of the bad things, but then they show you the good things, and they say, okay, well, you decide. No, listen, the ones that had bad things to them are the ones that you should be listening to, because those bad things should not have happened if these guys are supposed to be rocking with the true creator. Because they told us a story that, just like Santa Claus, ironically, just like Santa Claus, the creator knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good, because you're going to die if you don't, if you're not. Do you understand what's going on? How is it that the true creators saw these people getting raped, pillaged, whatever? They cry out to the creator and pray to him. Remember, they're told, take it to Jehovah. Let Jehovah handle it. That's what they tell you, right? So they do that. Nothing happens. The crime was already done against them. Have we heard that in past times before? No, not really. I've never heard of it. Yeah, we've heard of it. It happened to slaves. Remember that? So let's just go down this partial trip of going down the rabbit hole real quick, just because I have to talk about this, because people are going to watch this program. It starts next Saturday, 8 o'clock Central or Eastern time, excuse me, on this Oxygen station. So we're going to watch their little clip for it. But what I'm trying to show you in this little video here, in this screen that you have here, so you have a gentleman facing the light, number one. So he's already facing the east. That already tells you. It already tells you that these guys putting this thing together know what group these guys are at the top are in. If you know anything about Masons and Moors, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything more. I'm not blaming all Masons and all Moors, but what I am telling you is look at the Luciferian setup right here. You got the black and the red right there automatically. But let's just look at this shadow here, okay? Look at the shadow of this, and it turns into a tower, right? So our governing body member, or whoever this image is, the leader of the church, whatever you want to call them for Jehovah's Witnesses, facing the sun, and the shadow produces a tower. Do you think that's what it's about? No, it's a little deeper than that. See, because the tower has a color to it, doesn't it? It's red. What's the red for? That's blood. We know that. We know that. See, but if you just look at it for what it is, it's nothing. It's nothing. But you see the faces here. They're showing you the faces of the blood that's been sacrificed to this tower. So we need to understand what the Watchtower is all about. In fact, their little magazine called The Awake used to be called what? The Golden Age. If you remember the first couple things C.T. Russell talked about when he was beginning his church, he talked about them belonging to the Order. That's one of the oldest secret societies out there. But he put that out there publicly. So we can't look at that as a conspiracy. He put it in his own words. Look up on Google, if you want, anytime, C.T. Russell, The Order. Done. Read it. It's in a PDF form. Read the whole thing. He's the one that tells you that the true creator created the first secret society. We didn't learn that as a Jehovah's Witness. Where was that in the scriptures? But yet their leader, C.T. Russell, said that. Now, it's easy to say, well, wait, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about because, you know, we left the teachings of C.T. Russell alone, you know, when Judge Rutherford came along. Before I end this video, I'm going to show you your little judge who's not really a judge. But you know what? Out of full respect for our President Trump and his man, Rudy Giuliani, let me show you something real quick. No disrespect to Rudy. All right? Rudy, there you go. All right? But this is the exact same level that your Judge Rutherford was on with C.T. Russell. So let's look at C.T. Russell as Trump, and let's look at Giuliani here as Rutherford. Rutherford was never a judge, but he was a lawyer. He was a lawyer for who? C.T. Russell. Come on, when Russell started getting sick, who was going on most of the trips for him as his representative? That was who? Rutherford. Period. Did the rest of the members know that? No, because it was kept in secret. Well, how the hell could you find that out? We're going to go down that road, but I'm going to try to make this stream and this video as quick as possible because I have no script. I just got to get to it because I want people to understand both sides of this coin before they watch this television premiere next Saturday on Oxygen. So let's just watch the preview real quick of what they have to say. Here it is. And of course, I got to start again. So, like I said, I have no script. This is what I get for being as old as I am trying to do this, but here we go.
This is where I grew up. I would never go back if I didn't have to. There's too much bad here. This is the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. This is where it all began.
I no longer can be silent. I remember being lifted up out of my bed.
I said to my dad, I think something happened to me.
Okay, I apologize. So, again, like I said, I'm getting better at this. But I forgot to switch the camera back over for you. All right, here we go. All right, our stream looks okay. Everything's moving good. Okay, let's try that again. So I apologize. Here we go. Oh, my God. All right. I'm getting there. You can laugh because this is funny. All right, here we go. This is a serious subject, but let's get it. So this is Oxygen's presentation of The Witness, which premieres Saturday, February 8th at 7 Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And it also, part 2 of this, there's 2 parts. So part 2 of this is the next night, same time. Here we go.
This is where I grew up. I would never go back if I didn't have to. There's too much bad here. This is the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. This is where it all began.
I no longer can be silent. I remember being lifted up out of my bed.
I said to my dad, I think something happened to me.
We didn't know how many other victims there were. And still don't.
For For the last 5 years, I've been covering Jehovah's Witnesses' child sex abuse cover-up. If you ask a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses how child abuse gets handled in their congregation, it would come as a total shock to them that it's not supposed to be reported to police.
The elders know, and that's what angered me.
The leadership is knowingly protecting the identities of pedophiles.
The elders in this congregation did not call the police.
Neighbor, it'd be best if you go ahead and leave.
I absolutely believe in religious freedom, but as soon as their conduct puts kids in danger, that's when they become my concern.
It was the worst possible nightmare I could have imagined. He had me right where he wanted me.
I knew that if I yelled, nobody would hear me anyway.
In this organization, the predator has more rights than the victims. They think they are above the law.
They've got a whole database of abuse going back decades.
We'll never know the true scope of abuse unless we get to see the Watchtower's child abuse database.
Those files are marked Do Not Destroy.
You could try to do a search for do not destroy, but you'd come up with child abuse,
Robbery,
fraud,
assault, and murder.
murder, any abhorrent sin.
That much sin going on in the Jehovah's Witness?
Objection.
How many child abusers are out there who have never been reported to police?
I never told anybody again.
More victims are piling up.
It is their ticking time bomb.
I will not stop talking about this.
We need to get the database from inside the Watchtower.
This isn't just one congregation, it's everywhere around the world.
An abuse story that has layers of cover-up.
The Witnesses, a 2-night special event, begins Saturday, February 8th at 7 on Oxygen.
All right, so let's go into some things that we do know. This is a 990T form from Watchtower Bible and Tract Societies, Pennsylvania, from their 2015 report. If you go through, even from 1987's tax reports, all the way to 2018, you're going to find something very interesting in the Jehovah's Witnesses financial report or their tax reform or reports. And this is one of the reasons why I tell every person that's trying to go after Jehovah's Witnesses for what was done to their kids or any one of their children that were sacrificed or committed suicide or didn't take the blood. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they forget to tell you that, you know, when they did the whole blood thing, that the doctor that they used to say, yeah, these blood samplets are better, or the platelets, these are better instead of using regular blood. They forgot to tell you the side effects. They forgot to tell you the negative failing report. So Jehovah's Witnesses, their lawyers and their upper bodies defended it and did not talk about that at all. It wasn't an issue, and they forced it down the throats of their members. Remember, what did their members do before the no blood law? But yet they were still baptized. They were still allowed to so-called be in God's hands and still had the promise, right? But then they call everything new light. You only have new light when you're in darkness. Period. So what are you afraid of the dark for? You ever think of that? Let's just look at something quickly. I want to try to get this done as quick as I can. I want people to understand both sides of this coin, because the bullshit behind all religions, I understand everybody saying that they feel that they're in God's favor. That's great. I can't take that away from you. In fact, it's called freedom of religion. But religion has always been known as one thing: religion. You are reorganizing a legion. What legion? Why didn't we know this type of teaching when we were in elementary school, when we were even new to learning these different religions? See, we're so apt to say, listen, you know, as long as you have God in your heart, you got this, you got that, you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll be good. So how come it's not good enough to stop freaking death? Huh? Because people came to this land looking for the fountain of youth, for a dude by the name of Prester John. Look that stuff up in the Arthurian studies. This is before your Bible shit. When was the King James Version written? Anybody know that? See, if you do your homework and start asking simple questions, you'll get simple answers, and those simple answers help you solve the complicated questions you can't answer. But yet, these elders or these people that run your churches are the ones with the answers all the time. But they run out of answers when you stop giving them money. You ever figure that out? So let's just look at the money concept for a second here, okay? 2015 report. And I hope I'm not too loud. If I am, turn the volume down. That's all I can tell you, because this whole channel thing is just whacked out. I mean, it's on a wavelength that's just totally different. Let's get right to the point. In this report, you got it right here in front of you. Now, I'm not going to leave you a link to this. All I'm going to do is tell you this right here. And this is the reason why I'm streaming this, why I'm recording this. In fact, let me make sure we're still on. Oh, I guess we're still on. Okay. My fingers and toes are crossed for you on this. Okay. So, I don't care about the businesses. Look, Milestone Real Estate Investors. I mean, come on. That's investing into companies no matter what, right? Who's Tenasca? I mean, they've had this report for years. They've been in bed with this group. I don't care about that. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about? Two major things with Jehovah's Witnesses. Two. Number one. Because remember, they accept all the donations they can from their members, right? But they don't tell the members what they do with that money. You read in their little Watchtower and Awake magazines about the stories of, oh, there was an African guy or even a guy from Italy that traveled. He had to walk 17 miles just to get to a book study. Get out of here. Uh-oh, I think I just blew my speaker. I apologize. Hopefully you can't hear this hiss. Hold on. Let me see. I think I just blew my speaker. Hold on. Let me make sure we're still streaming, because... No, I guess we are. All right. Let me keep going. So, anyway, you see where my point was going, right? So, let's just take a look at something. There's some names on this little list here. This is the 990T form. We see this, right? I don't care about any of this stuff. I don't care about any of this, because you don't have to actually report 100% of your total gross. You just have to show some form of reports, okay? We know that. We know that. I've never done it. I've had to show everything because I don't want anything coming back on me. But let's just read this. It says, name a foreign country in which organization has financial interests. Now, ask yourself this question. If the profits of these stocks are coming from the interests or something along those lines in the stock, and that's how you make a profit, that's great. But what does the term financial interest mean? So if you were a Jehovah's Witness, if you're not, if you used to be, if your neighbor is, they're not going to ask their elder that question. They're not going to ask their governing body member, because the body member is going to say, take that up with the law office, please. Boom. And they'll hang up. Law office is going to say, oh, that's none of your business. Boom. So all you have to do is go to your tax office. Go to your H&R Block guy. Go to your, it doesn't matter where you go. Go to your local guy or lady and say, listen, if I had a business and I have financial interests in a different country, what would that mean? And shut up. Let them tell you. Because what you're going to discover is, look at these names on this list. Now you got Antigua and Barbuda. We got Bolivia, Costa Rica, Finland, Georgia's on here. Look, even Israel's here. Israel's right here. Madagascar, Maui, Sierra Leone. There's a lot of stuff going on in Sierra Leone right now. But Switzerland, Thailand, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Okay. On the surface, it looks like, these are contributions that are coming from those congregations, right? The problem with that, if you check their so-called yearbook, it's already in there as the contributions coming from these countries in those countries. It goes to the ISBA. So why are they reporting the ISBA return stuff from overseas here in the United States? So how come we don't have this form? How come we don't have this full report? Because I'm going to tell you something, and you need to investigate this, okay? And this is where you can bring your IRS. This is where you can bring a personal lawyer in. You are seeing something maybe for the first time that you've never known. See, like I told you, when you have to finally chase the bully down, you don't go into the ring knowing you're going to lose. You got to bust that nigga off fast, period. You got to shock and awe them. Now, they claim to rock with the true creator. They told the rest of the world that they were who? The wild beasts, right? Right? Name calling. The next video that I try to shoot for you, which is going to be episode 102, we're going to show you the true wild beast, because there was 10 families. There were 10 tribes on 7 heads. But what you don't know is 3 of those tribes were completely destroyed. No more family members, no more blood. Do you know what that means? You don't. We never did. We never did. We thought they were 10 kings that were from the past that are presently on this 7-headed beast. So what are you doing in bed with the same 7-headed beast that you claim you're not in bed with? What's meant by that? Jehovah's Witnesses have been involved with the UN for years. When you thought they came out in 1992 and said, oh, well, we were there just to use their library. Bitch, what do you need to use their library for when you have a direct channel to the creator? All you have to do is say, hey, God, thanks for meeting with us this week. So these are the concerns this week. We're trying to figure... You don't go to the freaking library of the UN to do what? Come on, get the fuck out of here, man. This is... See, people don't understand the reason I officially, firmly left. There was 2 factors that actually told me enough is enough, and the reason why I had to go. So, and the reason why I had to go was because of information that I found out, even though the situation did not say, well, it's time to go. That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm trying to be very to the point, but yet not too specific, because there's so much family things involved, and this is how this God works, is he gets into the minds of his subjects. You don't know what God you were messing with when you played with Jehovah, bitch. You don't. Think about something. How old is the letter J? Anybody ever ask that question? You ever type that into Google? I'm not going to do it for you right now, but I want you to do it because I know you haven't. So do it for yourself. How old is the letter J? Anybody ever ask that question? The letter J? Come on. Anybody know? 500 years old. But yet, the name Jesus, Joshua, James, Judah, you can go down the list. You can go down for... just keep going. If they never had the letter J in the beginning of their names, and everything is in a name, then who the fuck were they? Who were they? This isn't out of disrespect to them. This is a question that would come from the homie in the back of the classroom with a headset on, listening to his music, and his teacher, his history teacher's up there acting like, you know, they got all the credit, they earned all the degrees, and that kid's got that one question. He takes that headset off, and he says, hey, teach, I got a question for you. And that's exactly what happened to me when I talked to these elders and asked them one question, just one. See, and they had the nerve to throw back at me, and I'm going to tell you what they said to me, and then I'm going to show you in all their books. It makes no fucking sense. But I asked them, I said, where are black people in this Bible? We were told not to ask 2 things as a Jehovah's Witness, and every witness, current, past, present, it doesn't matter. Every witness knows. Number 1, you don't ever have to ask, how old is God? Remember that? It's like, oh my God, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. That's not important. That's not important. I found out the second one you're not supposed to ever ask is about yourself. It's not, so how am I supposed to like win this war in this Bible? I don't, no, it's, where's my people? See, the second you pull the race card, that's what they call it. It kind of makes you sick. See, because let's go back in our Bible history real quick. Ready? Here we go. So in the Bible, we kind of think, man, this could be black people this could have happened to, but it doesn't say black. It says, we got Italy over here, we got, the Romans, we got the Galatians. That's not Africa. So, right? Okay, so ask yourself this question. Their Jesus baptized who? Who did he baptize? The Ethiopian eunuch? I hate to do this right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I hope this is still streaming. Let me see. Oh, I guess we're still going because I got kicked off like just before I started this, so I'm knock on wood. Ethiopian eunuch, right? Let's forget Ethiopian. Forget it, because if you know your Arthurian studies, you knew what the phrase Ethiopian meant. So let's just scratch that, okay? Scratch that. Let's just put in one word. Eunuch. Eunuch definition. That's all we want. Go to Google. I'm doing the same thing you can do. Watch this. Now let's make sure it's the right word. Ready?
Eunuch.
Woo! Oh, sorry. I didn't get that. Say it again.
Eunuch.
Okay, we're there. So let's just read what Google says. All right? Since Google loves to brag about knowing everything, let's just read Google stuff. I mean, we got rid of the encyclopedias. It's all Google now. It's all Google and other search engines. So let's use the search engine. It says, a man who has been castrated, especially in the past. One employed to guard the women's living areas at an Oriental court. So let's ask the Oriental people something. And this is no disrespect to Asians at all. So they said in the past this happened. And they said after they've been castrated, they're employed to guard the women's living areas, right? So I ask every Asian in the world. Now, they even said, well, wait a minute. Aren't you Asian? You're a Negroid, right? Aren't you Afro-Asian? Okay. So who's the person that got castrated here? It says a man, right? Or is it saying, well, any man that's castrated is a eunuch, right? So in that Bible, they tell you that an Ethiopian eunuch was baptized, right? Baptized. So the only pride that most African people should have is knowing that they had an Ethiopian baptized by Jesus. Hey, congratulations, guy. Great job. Now you all are welcome. That's what they tell you, right? That's what they told you, right? So let's be real. Let's talk about this dude real quick. Mr. Joseph Franklin. Better known as Rutherford. You see, what people don't know about this cat, and every Jehovah's Witness knew at the top, okay? At the top, at the very top. And this is how they get away with making songbooks. If you look at the back page of their songbook that they're making you throw away and burn now, if you look at that back page, they had that black brother holding that songbook, right? And his eyes are fixated on that little girl. And his arm that's holding the book up makes it look like a dick, a private. Did you see that? Remember, all their artwork is approved by the creator. They're authorized by God to get it to you. So why the racism? Oh, well, that was accidental. Anybody can mess up artwork, right? So go back to your Awake magazines in 1923 through 27 if you want, and pick out any story. Because one of the main stories this cat decided to write was that even black people can come into God's favor. And what happens to black people when they come into God's favor? Their skin gets lighter. Did you read that story from him? Did you know he put that out there against you? Now, this is a guy calling himself a judge, God's personage. In fact, let's read the final thing I'm going to tell you about this knucklehead. Because there's two things. Number one, let me see if I'm still recording or streaming. Yeah, we're okay. Thank you. Number one, and listen, like I said, I grew up in this stuff. So I'm not trying to come down on these people. But when you get the math, then you know how to solve the problem. So let's read something very quickly here, because I know I just found it. I just seen this the other day. Okay, so does anybody remember C.T. Russell passes away just before World War I, 1914, correct? So his lawyer jumps in front of everybody and says, okay, guys, I was with him the most, this and that. As you know, the Bible students split into different sects because of what this guy tried to do. He swiveled his way up to be president and take over for CT. And a lot of people didn't care. I don't care about that story. I care about one thing. He went to jail. And when he went to jail, I don't care how long he was supposed to be there. I wonder how he got out. Let's get it now. Imprisonment and release. In early May 1918, U.S. Attorney General Thomas Y. Gregory condemned the Finnish Mystery. That was the book that they wrote. Now, and look at the symbology. Doesn't the Bible truly tell you not to use symbols? Why? Because at the end of the rainbow, there's a symbol that they took. Don't even want to talk about it right now. Let's keep going. The Finnish Mystery as one of the most dangerous examples of what? Propaganda. Do they still use propaganda in their magazine articles and Watchtower Ways? Hell yeah, they do. They use symbology, propaganda. This isn't about that though. A work written in extremely religious language and distributed in enormous numbers. That's fine. That's fine. Warrants were issued for the arrest of Mr. Rutherford and 7 other Watchtower directors who were charged under the 1917 Espionage Act of attempting to cause insubordination, disloyalty, refusal of duty in the armed forces, and obstructing the recruitment and enlistment service of the U.S. while it was what? At war already. So they were able to start telling the people, we're not going into the draft, right? We're not fighters. We're taught to turn the other cheek, right? Okay, I get that. I mean, they're not supposed to be in war, right? Every Jehovah's Witness needs to understand that you got this nigga by the balls. You got him. You got the present day people by the balls right now. Let's prove it, okay? First off, we got to see where he went to jail. So let's keep reading. So let's start here. Oh, this is where we ended. Okay. On June 21st, 7 of them, including Rutherford, were sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. Okay. All right. It happens. Okay. Rutherford feared his opponents would gain control of the society in his absence. So what was that telling you? Rutherford was in jail already. He was in panic mode. He's like, look, man, I can't let these guys take my stuff, man. I'm not losing my spot. So he put out his stuff to his people. I mean, we have that with the dude over in Utah right now. He's still running his people, right? Even though he's in jail or before he died or whatever. Come on. Okay, that's a different subject. Here we go. Let's wrap this up right now. Let's wrap it up. Okay? Because it says, but on January 2nd, 2019. So wait a minute. When did they go to jail? On June 7th of what? 2017. Correct? Or is it 2018? 2018. Okay, 2018. So, he was in jail for a couple months. January 2nd, 2019, he learned he had been reelected president at the Pittsburgh convention the day before. So now he's no longer worried about losing his spot. He's still president. He's happy. Convincing him that God wanted him in the position. But he's in jail. So now, let's get to the nitty gritty. You ready? On March 26, 1919. So now we're 3 months after it. He's still in jail. Remember, he got convicted for 20 years. And this is how they try to show his people that God was on his side. What none of you care about is that he took $500,000 and used it as a get out of jail free card. He paid that $500,000 back in 2019. Who'd he send the money to? This is that Jeopardy moment right now. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds. Okay, you ready? Sorry, Jeopardy. Should have did a little better job. So, who did J.F. Rutherford, a lawyer, pay $500,000 to? Does anybody know? Yeah, I think I know. I think he could have paid the United States government in an apology letter, and yeah, I think that's what it. Okay. I think I know. I think I know. I think he spent the money to help his members that were outside of jail, you know, help build his case and kind of take it back to court and kind of get it renegotiated. And the correct answer. He paid $500,000 to the other side of the war. And weirdly enough, after that check was cashed, the other side called the judge that was part of his case and said, let him free. And that's how we read the rest of this last part that says here, the directors were released on bail after an appeals court ruled that they've been wrongly convicted. Now, wait a minute. The Espionage Act of 1917 was very, very, very specific. So how in the world could law be incorrect in this situation? It's called money. Plain and simple. But he paid $500,000 for the other side of the war to kill your kids, your aunts and uncles, your great aunts and uncles. That's what this nigga did. And you call him being directed by the Heavenly Father, the true creator, the Most High? Why is someone the Most High? Who's the most low? You ever ask that question? We are talking about a pantheon of gods. And if you truly knew the identity of Yahweh, you would take 15 steps back, turn, and get the F out. That's what you would have done. Because Yahweh is also Molech. He's also Anu. He went by so many names. But wait a minute. I know what you're saying. But he had a son. And his son came to help deliver us. And this is so touchy. And I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But in life, we can only learn to walk based on who taught us to walk. That's simple. I got to move along here. I got to move faster, and I apologize. But I had to tell you guys that about your little judge, who was never a judge. So just pull this up. faithleaks.org, 2016 PDF. That's all you got to do. And you'll see a list of names right here. Take this to your H&R Block guy and say, hey, what does this phrase financial interest mean? Look it up in Google. You will be 900% amazed. Then backtrack. Then research their little file that they have on this Elizabeth lady that died in the early 1900s that gave them stock. They're not supposed to accept stock or buy stock, but they took it. Now, wait a minute. Ask yourself this question, because that same stock file is invested in Facebook, invested in MGM, invested in war, invested in everything. Why haven't we known this? Listen, it takes a broker to stand there and sign your name on the dotted line that you invested. You reinvested. You had to do it. She's honored, or that person is ordained by the organization to go ahead and make those changes. So they're investing in stocks, bitch. But they told you in your Watchtower and Awake articles that you're no part of the fucking world. See, that's the yin and the yang god. That's what that is. But sooner or later, the yin can't control the yang, and the yang takes over that yin, and it's a wrap. See, we're talking about our sons and daughters being lost. We're talking about our family trees no longer being here. Listen, most of y'all can go through your genealogy pools and send it out to 23andMe and all that shit, and boom, oh yeah, I'm Irish and this and that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. But you can't tell me that that's true about my people. Not when you guys have something set up that I think our Super Bowl later on tonight is getting ready that actually used that name from this. Not Giuliani. Sorry, Rudy. Sorry, Rudy. Anybody know about it? Should I go there? Are you ready? Now, I was going to play this video in the stream, but the stream has been acting up, so I'm going to let you do your own investigating, okay? The name of the video is called The Devil's Punch Bowl from Mississippi. And I asked you a question because I'm going to save this for the third video I shoot because it's so devastating, and now I get it. And I wish I knew it. Listen, I played football. I didn't get a chance to play in college or high school because I was told not to go to college. The world was going to end, this and that. So I devoted my time and my hours, even though they didn't have a problem with us competing against our own brothers and sisters in the congregation on the basketball court, football court, soccer field. So shut the fuck up. I get it. But maybe we don't understand it. And that's how we're fooled. See, nobody wants to talk about these things. They want to make it seem like, well, why you want to start up like that? Bitch, you started it by giving us a month of Black History Month. When you talk with 98% about slavery. What was positive about slavery? Anything? Oh, now he's not grateful that he used to be a slave. Man, listen. When you got the KKK around the block, when you got all these other people still around you, that's called fear factor. But when you don't have fear, it's no longer a factor. You see, I'm sick of my people dying. I'm sick of it. And there's a lot you can do. You can stop your bullshit. Maybe you could take a knee and type away in Google and start asking yourself some damn questions because you know your family's affected. And I'm talking to everybody outside of my race right now. You know your family's affected. You know it. So either you enjoy death, you enjoy loss, you enjoy heartache, you enjoy having your nuts cracked by these bitches that rule the world, or you get sick and tired and you ask them to let you live. Let you try to enjoy your family. Give you back your parents. Give you back the people that you love and you miss because their fucking religious joke is no longer funny. It's not funny anymore. It's not. It's not. Just because Rutherford wanted to be the first one to say, Jesus didn't die on a cross, he died on a tree. Bitch! How many more of us died on trees? You just told us who your Jesus was. No one wants to answer that question. No one. No one. But guess what? Jesus had you doing a practice, right? During the Passover, it's called the drinking of the blood and the eating of the body. Who ate people's bodies and drank their blood? You ever ask yourself that easy question? Did you know that some of the books they burnt were the books that told you what they were doing to the bodies? See, if you control information, you can put control on knowledge. They told you in religion that faith is the expectation of things hoped for. So you can hope to pass a test all the fuck you want, but if you don't study, you ain't passing. So what's the difference between faith and knowledge? See, the ones at the top have what they call the knowledge. It's also known as wisdom, right? Wasn't King Solomon the wisest? So everybody else was wise, but he was the wisest. But we don't even have a freaking clue of who Solomon really was. We don't even understand who David was. So if we don't understand him and we're calling him the wrong fucking name, how the hell could we call on him for help? Did you do the math? Because guess what, people? That's the mystery. That's the mystery of all religions. Period. So I have to wrap this up because our football game is about to start in about an hour. I think, you know, you got a great offense versus a very good defense again. Defenses usually win games, win Super Bowls. But as Green Bay learned, San Francisco can run up the numbers pretty quick on you. As Kansas City knows, their defense isn't as strong to stop everybody. But they stopped enough. So you got that immovable object versus, you know, that whole concept. Listen, I think it's going to be a 3-point game, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. Not that I'm a betting guy on that shit, but I'm just trying to tell you that from the surface, that's what it looks like. Anyway, I think Kansas City might pull it off. But you got to understand, you got the Chiefs versus the 49ers, right? Chiefs 49ers, Chiefs 49ers, Chiefs 49ers. Indian priests, also known as the Prester Johns, priest kings, right? Versus the guys that came hunting for gold, the 49ers, right? Do you not see what's been done in our face all this time? We had the Patriots for the longest time. What's the definition of a patriot? Do you know that? Look it up. Look it up. That's what they used to call Christians, right? I was born and raised a Christian. So don't tell me about, no, don't start picking on no Christians, because listen, what do the Christians care when their Jacob is Yakub? Remember, all the J's could be replaced with what? An I or a Y, right? And all the vowels were A, E, I, O, and U, right? Who came along and said, look, this is how we're going to do it? I'll tell you. Let's jump into it real quick. Because we know there's 3 different timelines. We have BCE, CE, and AD, right? Simple, right? We were taught that, right? Come on. Georgian calendar, and the calendar we use today, right? BCE. We were told it's before Christ era, or before what? Christian era, before Common Era, right? CE was Common Era or Christ era, right? So Christ lived from 0 to 33 years, right? So that would have meant that Christ's era would have been over when he died, if that's the case. And did AD kick in then? See, I ask these questions because you got a book out there that told a totally different fucking story, and you know it. You know it. We found it. We found it. And in that book, or group of books, it tells you what BCE really means. It tells you what CE really means. It tells you what our modern day AD, or after whatever, really means. Do you want to know real quick? And then go look it up for yourself. You ready? BCE means before conquest era. CE means the conquest era. And guess what AD means? After defeat. Well, in order for you to become a slave, you had to lose. That's all I can say right now. That's all I can say right now. Because I'm still learning. I'm not playing a guessing game here. We're taking real things that they bragged about and cost. The book I read that in, $6,000. Yale University. When you look through that book, a dude with white gloves has to turn the pages for you. Did you know that? We know nothing. We don't know enough about where we even live. We don't. We don't. Name a couple other names that America was called before it was called America. Do you know that? It's on their maps. Did you know that? Look at the maps of the 16, 15, 1400s. Look at them. Just type it in Google. Then ask yourself, well, wait a minute. I've heard that name before. Well, wait a minute. So don't throw the conspiracy shit out there, because I can give a rat's ass about that. Not when you conspired against my people, period. So we can either sit at a table on Skype or sit down and just talk and ask each other questions, because we're all trying to do one thing. We're trying to solve what's being done to the world right now, period. We're trying to help fix it. We're trying to help change it. I mean, it's just sick. I don't even want to go here with this video. I just told you about the punches, the devil's punch ball. I just wonder, that's all. Because if you understand where football really came from, why that football's colored the way it is, no one ever asked those things. Nobody. Did you know the guy that created basketball? We just lost Kobe, right? That's the saddest tragedy ever, and I hope they don't close the investigation on that. I hope they don't. Because any pilot knows that if it's foggy or even too foggy, you're not going to keep going forward. You're going to turn around and say, guys, we just can't make the trip today. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I hope they don't close the book on this and say it's done. I hope they keep investigating, because they're going to learn something. We need something that makes sense, not something that doesn't make sense. That crash made no sense. I'm not just talking because Kobe was on board, his daughter was on board. What about the other 7 friends? Those were people too. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the planes that hit the towers in the city. I'm not talking about that. You know, I'm not talking about this coronavirus. I'm not talking about that. These are problems that we can't fix because we don't know shit. That's why you get taken advantage of. Because what we say is what it isn't necessarily always what it is. And they know that. That's what makes them elected ones. So I'm gonna close this real quick. Let me go to the two other things real quick and get done. Smallpox, we need to talk about that, but I don't want to talk about it right now because it's gonna piss me off right now. I don't want to go there. So what I want to do is just clear my throat. I showed you the IRS form right there. You need to look it up. Then ask yourself what the hell is going on. Has anybody ever seen this picture before? Anybody seen this? Anybody? You know, 6 minutes. They can't kill us, right? Let's watch this video. Look at these towers. Watchtower. And I'm not just picking a Watchtower, because this is in Italy. Way back in the day. What tools were used to help build this? What lifts were involved to build this? And if you look at the very bottom of the screen, you can see there's a wall. You see that? And then boom. So that tells me your very concept of the term Watchtower is coming from this land, this area. And all you got to do is find out who was in the area, and you got these niggas right up the butt. You got them. You got them by their ass. Right there. Got them. Got them. And if their so-called God was Yahweh, what should that tell you about Yahweh? And that's a tetragrammaton? Excuse me. That's a tetragrammaton? Tetra means what? Grandma means what? Grandma means letter, right? Right? So tetra means what? 4? Or vice versa? One of the two, right? Tetragram and Atan. Who's Atan? Who's Atun? Atun. Who is it? Yahweh. He's also known as, if you didn't know that, but the military knows about it. In fact, I want to show you this about the military real quick. Hold on a second. Did I? Oh, man. I thought I opened up the video for it. Oh, my God. I thought I opened... Damn it. I didn't know our military men have been singing this song with Jehovah's name in it all these years. I think it's called the Song of Elijah or something like that. This isn't anything against them. This didn't know they had our religion in them. I'm like, wait, what? There's a video out there. I think the song is called There's No God Like Jehovah. Just go to YouTube, type in There's No God Like Jehovah. First off, that phrase alone tells you there's other gods, but there's no God like. Anyway, let's watch this video. It's called Ancient Towers Discovered by my boy John Levy. Now, if you know anything about that last name, it's a Jewish last name, right? So, come on. Give this guy some credit. They got to know something. He knows something. Let him show you something real quick. After this video, I got 2 more little small things to show you. I'm done. If you didn't like what you were listening to, you would have already been done a long time ago. If you're still here, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much for your time. This is nothing about me. This is all about us trying to get to the bottom of this shit, because if this coronavirus thing just continues to go viral in a sense and destroys us, you're going to look back and say, hey, well, at least we gave it everything we had. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What we need to do is label how the hell coronavirus came in. They told you that an animal was sold that had the virus. So that means this virus came from animals? Is that what you're saying? Did smallpox come from animals too? The Black Plague, did that come from animals too? Yes, because you said what? Rats? Rats brought it into the... Right? Let's get the truth, because that's the only way we can fix it. You have to break down that virus just to know how to affect it so it'll stop and kill itself, right? Let's check this video out real quick. 6 minutes, that's all I'm asking. Ancient Towers Discovered. Let's see what he's talking about. I have to make sure. Hold on a second. I have to make sure. Because this whole time, I could have had you guys off screen. I just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. All right, sorry. Wait, is this still streaming? Wow. I'm telling you, listen, no joke. When I started this, I said I wanted to start at 4:15. At 4:13, when I ran a test, it ran for 2 minutes and kicked me right off. So, I'm still knocking. Rather nobody watches this or not, I call it a success. So, thank you very much. Remember, we're nothing but a bunch of nobodies doing research. That's all we're doing. You ready? All right, let's get it. All right, sorry, John. Didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Get it.
These towers were constructed around the 12th, 13th
Does anybody have a clue what that Black Death was? See, they had a couple plagues going on over there. Europe knows about it. Europe's old kings knows about it. They know. They know. You don't know. They know. Ask about syphilis. Why they came to this new world to look for a cure for syphilis and also the fountain of youth, along with one other person. Prester John? Who the hell was Prester John? And weirdly enough, once they found this Prester John wrote a letter. And in that letter, supposedly it says that he has all these possessions, he's around all these different people like beings and this and that. And then he tells you that's nothing compared to the other Prester John. So we had two Prester Johns. Listen, we just found a connection to the whole Star Wars saga. I'm telling you. So I'm going to put it together in a video and prove it. But I'm just telling you, man, this is some shit. We don't know our history correctly. We don't. I don't think we do. I just don't.
Which, you know, this is kind of another mystery. It's very vague. Black Death.
See, nothing else should have mysteries in it. Only religion, because the Bible claims it's a mystery. But yet there's mysteries outside of the Bible. Before the Bible was even... Listen, King James supposedly had the first version of the Bible done, what? 1606, right? Columbus came here in 1492. Who came around the same time? When was Dum Diverses done? Did anybody know anything about that? That was 40 years before Columbus showed up. Weirdly enough, 40 years, that takes us back to some Bible stuff, because it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, right? Moses comes down off of Mount Zion, and boom, these people are worshiping a golden calf, and he drops the tablets, and he kills off all the parents. And they stay in the wilderness for how long? 40 years. Jesus goes into the wilderness because he knows that Judas turned him in, and he's in there for how long? 40 days, 40 nights. We don't ask the question about these 40s, do we? Because there's 4 sides to the pyramid, and if you put 10 years on each side, and you count those stones all the way to the top, first off, there's 144,000 stones. So this is how your little C.T. Russell put it together, that the 144,000 are the chosen ones. But yet they surpassed that number a long ass time ago, and they still can't get it right, because he used pyramid math, when that type of math came from a source, not the true creator. What's a pyramid to him compared to the rest of the earth? Compared to an ant? Compared to a squid? Nothing. I don't know.
There's a lot to explore there about what this was that wiped out so many people, and I think at that point wiped out a big part of our history, almost our amnesia. But this town, San Gimignano, probably pronouncing that wrong, this is the one that was built in the 1st century. And here I'm just throwing in some towers of Tibet, just to get a little perspective. These towers in Tibet, in the Himalayas, in the Sichuan province of China, these were built about 500 to 1800 years ago, according to carbon dating. But that, again, is very loose dating, and very little information exists. I mean, these are oftentimes in remote areas with no roads, and very difficult place to even build towers, and there's no stone. There is stone, but it's still mountainous. I mean,
Sometimes life is a little simpler than you ever imagined. Even the phrase Himalaya. You kind of wonder who came up with these names, seriously. Himalaya? Himalaya where? Who's laying? Again, we don't know where we live. I'll tell you where I'm at real quick. Born and raised in Elmira. I'm an hour away from Elmira. And in between Elmira and Binghamton, there's a place in Sayre, PA called Spanish Hill. Who in their right mind would name it Spanish Hill when there was no Spaniards speaking there? Possibly. But if you know what came out of that mound that's there, you have to ask yourself, what's really going on? See, because those giant bodies, the couple bodies that they took out, see, they didn't do a full body count and say, okay, let's see, 52,000. Okay, we got 1,200 people in here. Okay, no problem. We'll just take these 3 samples with us. Where'd they take them? Smithsonian, right? Smithsonian just, we got you. Here's your money, bro. Thank you. See ya. Horns coming out of the skulls. Horns. Human bodies, horns coming out of the skull. That changes the whole scenario to a Viking. Yet people have so much pride about being a Viking. It's in every game. We don't know. We don't know. Or do we? Do we? Because let's show you something. So, let's see if I can find it right here. Ancient kings and queens, Nephilim giants, tomb found by John Brewer. John Brewer. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, yeah. Grand Canyon. Oh, yeah. He found these giant things. His Indian friend dug a hole into the ground and boom, landed into some underground cave. And we found all these plaques and gold and everything. And let's play stupid for an hour, okay? You ready? Because who was smart enough to come around and take these things from John Brewer? Who was John Brewer hired by? Smithsonian. So the Smithsonian grabs these artifacts. So, hey, yeah, we're building a museum, so, you know, we could use these. No problem. Thank you very much. Here's your money. Here's the question. Because you can see on some of these are actually drawings. You can see it. You can see the drawings, but I'm not going to go there. I'll let you look at the video yourself. You saw what the title was. But I want to show you some quick slides here. That's one of the cases that was found there. But I got to show you some things. So, now, you're talking about the life of a male Nephilim giant. That's what it says. But who the hell is that? Look. What? You can see the teeth. Something on the frickin' nose. There's the ear right there. There's the eye looking up. We can see. Is it a dog head? Is that not a dog head? Or possibly a dragon head? We don't know. We don't know. But I'll show you something. Watch this. Keep going in the video. Now, this is the actual drawing from the Indian guy that John Brewer had go look and led him to this cave. Okay? That just showing you what it is. Now look, we went from dog head to something totally different. Remember, this is what the drawing looks like on the coin. They show you that right here, right? That looks like a dog to me. I'm sorry. It looks, I don't know what the hell that is, like an informity or something. I don't know. Maybe it used to be a horn or something that got cut off. I don't know. But let's look over here now. And now we see the part on the head. So that was supposed to be this. And look, they got it on the other side right here. This is all on the plaque of what they saw inside the casket. So let's look at the brother. Let's look at the brother. Because people are looking at it saying, oh yeah, that's a Viking. Yeah, he's a Viking, man. We can't tell if he's Caucasian, Asian, German, Latin. Can't tell, can we? But history put us to the point that if we see somebody with long hair like this, oh, he's got to be at least white. He's got to be a white guy, at least. Check the Solomon Islands. Check the DNA in these bones. I thought we can take bones and say, oh yeah, this person died 18 years ago. Why? Where are the bones of this thing? That looks pretty well damn reserved, doesn't it? That's a great preserving of the face. Look at this. It didn't tear down that much. What's the crown on the head for? What was this, just a headpiece of war, or was he like one of the kings? Now, his body is almost 9 to 10 feet tall. They must have known about pillows back then. Look at this square. Shit. Look, what? He had ammunition? I mean, come on. Why do they have our cross here? What's up with the cross? Come on, man. These are these are the questions that homie in the back of the classroom, or that emoji girl in the back that could really care less, doesn't like life, doesn't like anything, and you're showing this on the board, and they're like, psh, yo, teach. Those are the questions, and those are the questions that we should be asking Smithsonian. You got to know the Vatican has a lot of this stuff. Why the hush hush shit? Why? If these things used to be alive today, back in the day, didn't they tell you in their little Bible, supposedly, some of their stories that just like in the days of Jared, so the end will be. For Jehovah's Witnesses, it's kind of funny that in the days of Jared, you had Jared Kushner that bought the Watchtower building before you moved up to Walk Hill, or to Warwick. No one in the world has asked this question about Warwick, New York. No one. So I'll give it to you. You ready? And this is how you shut your Jehovah's Witnesses down. You punch them right in the mouth. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the higher ups. The president, the vice president, all those names that were on that tax receipt at the end. Did you see that? Secretary, all those people, right? Did you see the percentage they get? Hold on. Let's bounce back there. Oh, I closed it out. Dang it. If you look at that link like that I showed you, right at the bottom, it shows you the percentage of what they got to keep. It's broken right there. We just didn't recognize it. But again, if we ask these questions, we'll get better answers. We get them to say, I don't have to say anything about it. So that's when you hook them up to a lie detector and ask them again. Oh, my lawyer says I shouldn't have to, use the lie detector test. Bitch, you're supposed to be representing God. So either you're lying, God's lying, or both y'all niggas is lying. So what you trying to hide? Listen, I said this before about Jesus. Supposedly the story is Joseph and Mary leave and go to Egypt because King Herod is trying to search and kill Jesus. Remember that story? Remember that? Okay. Jesus is born Nazarene. Boom. The whole thing. He grows up, gets baptized by his cousin John, and he's talking with his disciples most of the time. How come the disciples never asked the simple, obvious question? Jesus, how the hell did those pyramids get here? Jesus, who's on the front of these pyramids? What's going on in Giza? Who built those, Jesus? And Jesus should have said, well, we seen all that happen, and these are the people that did it, and this is the reason why we took them out. All of that should have been explained. Never, ever, ever once did the Bible go there. Why not? You gotta understand whose team they were on. Period. So don't any religion try to tell me shit, because it's just shit. Remember, we had this shit shoved down our fucking throats, and if we didn't accept it, we were killed off. Period. It is what it is. But why can't they answer what these things are? Where they were? This was found in the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. We only know 8% of what's in the Grand Canyon. We don't know all the different tunnels that are down there, but I think some of our military men who have to sign themselves into secrecy that they can't say anything about wherever they go and what they have to do. This is probably why they deal with PTSD so much. Because they've seen things, they've been around things, and they can't say shit. But that's also what happens when you're at the higher levels. That's why they pay you off. How come you can't get paid off for being a teacher? How come you can't? Listen, your elementary and high school teachers should be paid more than even football players. Yes, football players and basketball players have more risk. Do not get me wrong. I get it. I get it. But if you're supposed to be molding these kids and turning them into tomorrow's LeBron James or whatever's, then they should be paid accordingly, don't you think? Because they got to deal with the babysitting. The babysitting. Did you know this school has been a pyramid the whole time? Did you know that? How many years do you go to school? Kindergarten through 12th grade is 13 years. That's 13 steps. Each year, it takes almost 9.5 months before you're done with school. So when you start in September here in New York State and you get out of school in early June, 9.5 months. There's also one other thing that happens in 9.5 months' time. It's called a full-term pregnancy of a woman. You see how easy it is? And when you become a senior in high school, they give you that little square with that tassel, and you flip it over and you say, I graduated from one type of life to now a new education. And now, what do I do next? You go up to the next level. But guess what? That four-sided square that you put on your head that you support is the bottom of the pyramid. That's what I'm starting to see. And I'm the world's biggest nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about me. I had the worst shit in my life. I should have been dead years ago. So what? I'm nobody. But you know what? We're tired of having to deal with death. Why can't we deal with life? Isn't it supposed to be that we're here to live? But the Bible tells you that this life is the test, that you're here to die. At the end of the Bible, it's death. But they came looking for the fountain of youth to keep living. They came looking to save themselves. See, the only escape that you ever had in life, I'm going to tell you, because I'm starting to see this. I'm going to tell you. The only escape you ever had in life is to know that you never asked to be born. So because of that, you should have the right to choose. You should have a right to investigate, research, ask questions, think about things, and then say to yourself, either I'm with that 100%, or I'm not rolling with that shit. That's the line that you make. That's the choice that you should have. Period. Look at this right here on the same screen. Now look, we got it on the front of this here. I don't know what this is. A little plaque. Maybe it's a thing that's over this dude's chest. I don't know. It looks like a blanket here, something wrapped. I don't know. He tried to draw this good. Look on the shoulders of this guy. None of this is freaking loincloth, is it? But look at this. He's got the drawing of the dragon or whatever the freaking animal is right here on his shoulders. That tells me he had a fucking certain pride with his shit. I don't know who he was fighting for, or with, or against, or if they all were fighting him, I don't know. This is just the king that was in this tomb. Watch the video for yourself. Look up more about these guys. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I found. Don't put it like, oh yeah, everything on YouTube, you know, it's a joke, it's a fake, it's a this. That's great. But we know that John Brewer was real. We know that he did go to the canyons. We know that Smithsonian did take his shit. We know the Smithsonian went back in there after that. We know that there's areas in the canyon you can't go into because it's protected land. I made this a little longer than I wanted to, so I got to start wrapping this up. So I got 2 more things to show you guys. So there's a video, not this one. I'm going to save this one for last because it's very important. So This one, 13 minutes. Do we have time? It's 5:36. Kickoff is at 6:08 or something like that. Oh my God! All right, we're doing it. We're doing it. Listen. So honorable mention. This video has honorable mention. It's called "Tiny People, Giant Realm" by John Levy. Get a chance to look at it. You've seen it in this video, so you can check it out for yourself on YouTube. We're gonna bounce off of that. This one I want to show you mythological or true lamb of Tartaria. We don't know who the Tartarians were, and we need to understand. If we understood, we could piece it back together. And then you're gonna see JW Lives. I was gonna go into the OSV, and only because I found out the OSP, which I've never even heard of before, is almost like a glossary book from Yahweh. Did you know that? From Jehovah. Look, it says, in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. Who were they? The archangels. Did you not get that? Ridiculous. Copyright date 1935, and from extant pre-1882 OSV source. So that means the book goes further back than 1930 frickin' 5. And you know your C.T. Russells knew about it. Your fake Judge Rutherford knew about it. All these dudes knew about it because they're at the level where they're elected. They deserve the right to know. You gotta understand, we all forget that we were taught in school. I'm gonna close this though. We were taught in school that, we were taught in school that our first president, George Washington, went to war, and there was one particular war where he was just kind of didn't think he was gonna make it, through. What did he do? He went into the wilderness. Remember that story? He went into the woods, and some weird spirit talked to him and said, "Georgie Porgy, I got you." Remember we were taught that story? Didn't that happen with Moses? Didn't he go up to Mount Sinai and supposedly, bam, the bush is on fire, but it's not really fire, it's etheric fire? And yet they show you two different types of Moseses in history. Moses with the freaking horns going up, and the one they really can't say his real name, but they call him Moses. Ones that written books. How many Moseses were there? But there's a term that they call contemporaneous. What the hell does that word mean? And when you see that contemporaneous means a person that was around the same time as the person we're telling you this one is, you are like, why would you need to do that? It's not the same person. God damn, I don't even want to. This is 13 minutes long. I'm going to watch this, and then I'm going to end it with this guy from JW Lives cut short. His name is Faithful Slave. Look, I give this guy credit because I accidentally ran into his video, and I understand. I seen it for myself. Like I said, when you grew up a Jehovah's Witness, you do get a relationship with most of these people. You just don't know who these people are or who they used to be. But you call them brother and sister. I'm sorry, but brother and sister did not come from the Mormon shit or the Mason shit or the Moor shit. It came from slavery shit. Those were our brothers and sisters that we called brothers and sisters. Because only family had to try to survive what we went through. That's why they don't want us going back to our past. Because our past may help us solve our future. Period. Damn it.
What you were taught in school is just a version of reality. It may not be the only version, or the best version, or the most accurate version. Professor Christopher Nioges. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I think this quote by Professor Nioges is most appropriate for the story of the Lamb of Tartaria. We all know that things can get lost in translation over time, and from language to language. The Lamb of Tartary, a real thing that somehow over time led to it becoming a myth with what I find to be the most bizarre description. I also have some interesting link-ups between the presumed mythological Lamb of Tartaria, the Scotsmen, the ancient Hebrews, the Indians from India, and the Indians from South America. So what is the Lamb of Tartaria? And my question, could the sacrificial lamb in the Old Testament be, in fact, this Lamb of Tartaria? And it is described metaphorically, as Jesus Christ is also described metaphorically as a sacrificial Lamb of God. First, I will read a description said to be authored by Henry Lee. It's an excerpt from a book written in 1851. In a place called Scythia, in the land of Tartaria, it was said to grow a tree of miraculous form. There groweth a sort of fruit, as if it were gourds, and when it is ripe, men cut it asunder, and they find therein a beast, as if it were of flesh, blood, and bone, as if it were a little lamb with wool, and men eat the beast, and fruit also, and sure, it seemeth very strange. This story was later embellished and had the beast, the lamb, linked to the plant by an umbilical stem, so that it could browse on nearby vegetation, and when all the vegetation around the lamb plant was consumed, the lamb died. The story is often supported by the assertion that the Baramets was a Tartar word meaning lamb. Henry Lee quotes from another source, a French book of about 1357, which is purported to be the recollections of travel stories from classic and medieval times of that English knight, Sir John Mandeville. Though the official narrative of today declares that the work of Sir John Mandeville was actually a compilation of stories put together by a Benedictine monk, and it is assumed that this monk never travelled further than his monastery's library. The source Henry Lee quotes from has a very long title, The Voyages and Travels of Sir John Mandeville Knight, wherein is set down the way to the Holy Land and to Jerusalem, and also to the lands of the Great Khan, and of Prester John to India, and divers other countries, together with many and strange marvels therein. I don't think he would get a book with that long title published today. For many centuries, the Lamb of Tartaria was considered to be a myth, and depending on which official historical document you read, some say it is still a myth. The Lamb of Tartaria was considered a mythological zoophyte, that is, a plant that is half animal and half plant, or plant-like animal. Other historic accounts document that this legendary plant was introduced to England by the knight Sir John Mandeville in the 1300s, and a specimen of this legendary zoophyte is said to be found at Lambeth Castle in Britain. This castle is still in existence to this day and still bears the name Lambeth Palace. The specimen held at Lambeth Castle was an upside-down fern, which was either a mistaken attempt to identify the sheep plant or an outright fraud. The specimen at the castle is Cybotium baramets, the golden chicken fern or woolly fern. It is a species of tree fern native to parts of China and to the western part of the Malay Peninsula. The fern's woolly rhizome was thought to be the inspiration for the mythical vegetable lamb of Tartaria. There is mention of a similarly described plant animal in Jewish folklore as early as 436 CE. This creature, called the Jeduah, Jeduah, an alternate name for the Baramets, was like a lamb in form and sprouted from the earth connected to a stem, and those who went hunting the Jeduah could only harvest the creature by severing it from its stem with arrows or darts. Once the animal was severed, it died, and its bones could be used in divination and prophetic ceremonies. Are plants' bones used in divination and prophetic ceremonies? This is a grossly misunderstood translation of the text at one time. It is a plant. Plants can be analysed now to determine and discover things. Our medicines come from plants. In a portion of
There's one more thing that came from plants too. This is why they're able to put spirits into your liquor. What spirits? Look, anytime you can pick up a Ouija board and have a spirit around you, tells you that the gateway has been open for a long time. So when you're in these cities at night and you see these little things freaking flying around, they're not freaking hoverboards or shit like that. They're not freaking remote control. They don't move the right way. You gotta start asking questions. We didn't ask enough questions. Before you get a diagnosis, you have to ask questions from the patients. What do you feel like? Where does it hurt? How long has this been hurting? Even if it's a mental problem.
In the Mishnah Kilayim, there are creatures called the Adna.
Now you heard it was Mishnah, Vishnu, all that type. I'm sorry, Hindus, but we have to go down this road because this coronavirus is getting stronger. All these other problems, earthquakes, all these things that they told you in the book of Revelation and their books of different things that said all these things are coming. Do we have to go? Can we stand up to this shit?
Haste, which literally means Lords of the Field.
Remember, it's Adonai, right?
Regarded as beasts. Two classical authors also seem to describe the exact same plant. Herodotus, certain trees bear for their fruit fleeces surpassing those of sheep in beauty and excellence. And Pliny, these trees bear gourds the size of a quince, which burst when ripe and display balls of wool out.
This is one of the original keys. Keys of Solomon. Keys of the kingdom. They've been on the stones in Egypt. We have tons of artifacts that shows these beings standing by a tree with something floating over the top, but we don't know what the fuck it is. But we never asked enough questions as to what we saw. See, math is either science, life is either scientific or spiritual, right? They always religious or spiritual. You know, it's always been that little yin yang war, right? But look at the numbers. There's so many numbers in science. There's so many numbers in religion, including a book in the Bible called Numbers. Bullshit, man. Absolute bullshit. We can figure this shit out.
Make cloths like valuable linen. So with the lamb of Tartary, one could make a fine cloth. So here now is where we find our famous link to the Scottish. The Scottish tartan. So let's have a look at the etymology of the word tartan. I'll put it on screen as there are numerous spellings which also may aid to further research on Tartaria. Tartan, noun. The spelling is likely influenced in Middle English by Tartarian, rich silk cloth, mid-14th century. From Old French tartarian, tartar cloth. From tartare, tartar, the central...
I gotta stop it there for a real quick second because it goes right back down to, remember they showed you mid-14th century, right? So we have, what time period was that around that time period? It's called medieval, right? Medieval. Listen, they know medieval meant middle. Middle meant what? CE. Conquest era. Medieval times. So if you have a medieval, then you have to have a pre-evil and you have to have a post-evil. We are living in the post-evil, which is also known as the AD, the after the defeat. Before they conquered, they had the BCE, which is before conquest era. So before they began their conquest, they had to deal with what was in the past, which meant they had to put themselves in and take over. Period. I don't know who they were. All I know is we're dealing with time and space, right? Time and space.
Asian people, Fabric, mid-15th century, perhaps from Middle French tire-tane. Strong coarse fabric, mid-13th century, from Old French tirette, kind of cloth from Tyre. Silk cloth, from medieval Latin tirius, cloth from Tyre. See Tyrian. Wikipedia says the English word tartan is most likely derived from the French tartaren, meaning tartar cloth. It has also been suggested that tartan may be derived from modern Gaelic tarsain, meaning a cross. Today, tartan usually refers to coloured patterns, though originally a tartan did not have to be made up of any pattern at all. Today we still call the product from the lamb of Tartary wool.
But there was also land on a map in that same time period, 12, 13, 1400s, known as Tartaria.
Cotton wool from the cotton plant.
And crazy enough, our slave people did what? We had to pick what?
An annual growing herb belonging to the genus Gossypium of the Malvaceae family, or the mallow family. Cotton seeds contain oils that are a valuable source of protein.
Those oils are what they call the anointed. Christos means anointed oil. Christos. Why do they have this little cross as the flag with this lamb on the cotton leaves? See, something's up with that flag. Part of that flag becomes what? The cross, if you extend it one way. We seen it on the giant. He had it on the giant from the cave, right? Okay, we're just going with what we see, okay? Now, if you know anything in language, that cross, it's called the Tau. The Tau. But a lot of these groups turn that Tau from this to this. And it's on their flags, their coat of arms. That's called a change of time and space. Changing portals.
Cotton. And where can we find the first evidence of cotton use? Scientists searching caves in Mexico found bits of cotton balls and pieces of cotton cloth, which means that it was woven, that proved to be at least 7,000 years old. They also found that the cotton itself was much like that is grown in America today. In the Indus River Valley in Pakistan, cotton was being grown, spun and woven into cloth 3,000 years BC. At about the same time, natives of Egypt's Nile Valley were
Now, I hate stopping videos. I hate it. If we have land over in this world that used to be the old world, that's now called the new world, and look at all the names of the different cities that are in the new world. They used to be part of the old world. Look at all these names. Look at all the Thieves. Look at Luxor. Look at. We have to understand that we have no clue where we are. And because of that, we don't know what happened with the landmass. We don't. Anybody ever heard of a mud flood? I mean, we're starting to see a lot more of them nowadays with bad rain and bad weather, but we don't know what it did to everything else. Why do we have the plains? You know, the further west we go. And then boom, we got the Rockies, and then boom, desert, all kinds of weird stuff. But yet, on the old maps, they didn't even have that stuff laid out. Wouldn't even talk about it. Nothing. Everything else was labeled out. But above that area, up through Canada, nothing. Oh, it was undiscovered land. No. Because when you look at Tartaria, and when you look at some of these other things and piece it together, one guy was in that land. And we already found bones and graves in the canyon area. Did you know that the lowest rock layer of the canyons, the Grand Canyon areas, the lowest rock layers is called what? Vishnu. Why didn't we know that? Just curiosity, just it's chance. Nah, they didn't do anything by chance. Nothing has ever been done by chance. Nothing.
Making and wearing
Nothing.
cotton clothing. When Columbus discovered America in 1492, he found cotton growing in the Bahama Islands. By 1500, cotton was known generally throughout the world. Cotton seeds are believed to have been planted in Florida in 1556 and in Virginia in 1607. There is evidence being found of the links between the Indian and the Mayan culture. I have a short clip which explains a brief introduction that leads to this link between the Mayan culture and the Indians. Andreas Zertis recently had Professor Christopher Nyerges as his guest. This is a snippet of the conversation. The entire interview is well worth viewing.
Seminars, and we would talk about a couple of these cultures and the similarities to previous cultures. Like, where did the Mayan come from? You know, most people say they came from the Olmec, but there's a lot of evidence that the Mayan people, the flowering of the culture came right out of India. And the temple building culture in India, which would have been like on boats, almost a year journey to get over to Central South America. Not South America, Central America. Yeah, Mayan and India.
They left out one thing though, because if you look at the Arthurian books, the Prester John search books, you realize on their maps that they have in all these other books that a lot of them were burnt, but Smithsonian has them, Yale has them, all these different colleges have these books, and these books show you maps that tell you everything because they bragged about what they had. God damn it, they used to call America what? What's some of the other names America was called before it was finally America? Look it up yourself, but you'll find everything known as not minor, but major. Another name for major was superior. So you had Ethiopia superior, you had India superior, you had Abyssinia. All three of our lands here, that's what we would consider Canada, North America, South America, they all used to be called the three what? The three Indies. So you can't say India is superior, but say, well, it still means India. But we have land over there called India. So when was that land over there called India before, when was that land called India compared to when the land that they're showing you on the maps, which was India superior, which was first? Because anytime you say superior, there's someone inferior. We deal with that in race and everything else today, period. So that means Asia Minor had an Asia Major. Where was Asia Major at? See, this is right exactly when you have that look from Eddie Murphy when he does his skit back in the day from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and somebody knocks at the door and you're like that's the look. That's the look.
The similarities are just totally profound. India and Mayan culture. Kind of interesting, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't even know that's online, because this is a very unorthodox version that the Mayans came from India. Like the resemblances. It's not just one or two things. The resemblances are like hundreds of resemblances in terms of the clothing, the postures of the people in the inscriptions, and on and on and on and on. There's like a lot of text. I read textbooks about this. I never saw these pictures, but some of the images are just shockingly similar.
Here's my favorite: is this picture from Egypt and this picture from Ecuador.
Yeah, never seen that one either. No.
There's better ones even, I think, actually I should look for. But what's funny is they found this in a place called the Lane.
Yahweh is the horn god, the sun god. Everywhere, even in Jehovah's Witnesses, with their magazines, from Watchtowers, the Awakes, look again. Look to see how they got his name Yahweh in the triangles. They got it as the rays of sunlight. They got it all. His son and the God are both one and the same. Period. That's what they're showing you. Look at this. Look at the braids, the braided hair. Look at the braided hair. But notice the snakes coming out. Well, they didn't change it here. And what you notice that on these Egyptian giants, on the drawings, on the pyramids and stuff like that, they got the snake coming through the forehead. What do you think a third eye concept is? The snake possessed the people. Don't you get it? So who is the snake? Who is the sneaky Wile E. Coyote? You know, swiper, no swiping, swiper, no swiping. God damn it.
Land of giants above Banios in Ecuador, and there are tons of examples of it. Here's one really great: Ecuador, Mesopotamia. Check out that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Crespi, the Crespi collection. The archaeologists, the traditional archaeologists, don't know what to think about Crespi, and they just say it's all fraud. But
well, no.
Busted. What tree is that right there? What tree? It's the same lamb tree they just showed you in this video.
Now we know, because I just was in Ecuador about 2 years ago, and in the northeast in Ecuador, there is a place, this forest called Land of Giants, and Google has laser proven it's there. And then, this is where all the stuff's been coming out that they were trying to hide for a while. But there are tons of it, and it's definitely not fake. It's like, I saw some of it.
So the whole point to me really is that what you're taught in school is just a version of reality, and it may not be the only version or the best version or the most accurate version.
There is evidence of a worldwide flood, evidenced by the fact that archaeologists have been digging the remains from underneath meters of dirt since at least the 19th century, and in some places there is still more underneath those layers. We have the oldest known evidence of cotton, the loom of Titan.
Let's make sure we heard that last thing again. Ready?
From underneath meters of dirt since at least the 19th century, and in some places there is still more underneath those layers. We have the oldest known evidence.
Now, that's why I say we don't know how high up we are. We don't know high up in elevation we are, these cities. If you drive up Route 81 from Binghamton and you head to Syracuse, just outside of Syracuse, as you're driving up 81, and you look and it looks like the city is up above your freaking head. And no one's ever asked why. No one. So ask yourself this question. How high is the elevation between the tip of Florida and the tip of New York State? What's the difference in height? Why don't we care? I just will never get that. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. So they're getting ready to do the kickoff. Not that that's super important to me right now, but
woven into a cloth in Mexico. The Lamb of Tartaria is not a myth. It is an example of a very misinterpreted, translated text at some time in the past. Just what were those skins that Adam and Eve were given to wear? The skins of a sheep or the skin of the Lamb of Tartaria? Just a thought. That's all for today.
do you see it right there? Look. Do you see it? How about these right here? That's a face. What are we afraid of? What are we afraid of? Well, let's end this right now because this went way over. I hope you can take bits and pieces of this and just, consider saying to yourself, hey, amazing, I don't know. It says it stopped streaming. No. Yeah, it froze. Shit. God damn it. Damn it. I don't know why. Why? Oh, sorry. It's still streaming. Okay. Oh my god. I thought it stopped. It froze on me. All right. I'm so sorry. All right. End it with this final video. I was crushed there for a minute, but got it back. Where'd he go? Dang it. Did we close him out? Oh, we closed him out. No. Oh. Let me see if I can find him. Give me 10 seconds. I gotta see if I can find this video. I just had him up. What was his name? Dang it. Oh my god, I forgot the name of it, but I wanted you guys to see that because of the Jehovah's Witness thing. So listen, we'll start the next video that way when we do it again. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to say one final comment to everybody. And I know we took a little bit of time off your hands with this video. I apologize, but listen, I have this to say. You know, I love my parents more than anything in the world, anything that they'll ever know. And I hate to see this religion keep them away from us until they become sick or something and we can't have them as much as we want. That's just my point. That's just me. And to other ones that have their families and left, you know, at least you woke up. At least something like this video will help give you confidence that you made the right choice. For ones that are thinking of going in because they're so worried because the world's coming to an end, listen, it's never been about any of that. I'm going to tell you right now. It's always been about you not even having a choice of being born. But because you are alive, you can do something about your life. You need knowledge. You don't need what they're giving you, the bullshit. The bullshit doesn't add up to nothing. But life always benefits life. So start becoming a benefit to yourself. I thank you. If you got a chance to see this, if you didn't, hopefully you'll see the replay or the review or I don't know. But that's all I got to say. That was the Rabbit Hole 101, episode 1, and we'll pick back up after the broadcast happens next Saturday and Sunday. I'm not even gonna watch it. Don't have to, but you know, it's on Oxygen. If you call your cable provider, go to their website. They have an app you can download. You can see what you need to do. Watch it. That's all I can tell you. It's only gonna cost you time. That's it. Thank you very much. And let my parents go. That's all I'm going to tell you, JWs. Let them go. Give them $3 million and let them go. That's what they deserve to have. I don't want any of it. They can do what they want with it. You owe it to them. You lied. You lied to all these families. You sucked their blood because you've been worshiping a God that you knew who you were worshiping. This Molech. It's Baal. It's all that. You know it. Come on, man. Stop bullshit. Let these people live.